Wine, Wine Not, a queer podcast.
Hi there, everybody. I'm Rick Todd.
And I'm Jeremy Williams, and you're listening to Wine,
Why Not? Queer Podcast.
episode 60. You threw me off because I was reading along with the script, and you said, hello, everybody, and the script says, hi, everyone, and I was thrown into chaos.
I think I said, like, hello there, or hey there, everybody. You know, it's because it sounds like if you were to string, I watch John Oliver, and I'm a big fan of John Oliver, and I'm wondering if we ever say something so stupid as to piss off John Oliver and his team, and we end up on there, he would say, and now this, you know, Rick Todd saying, hi, everyone. And it would just be every episode, 59 episodes, every one of them I say, hey, everybody. So I changed it.
To keep him on his toes.
Hey there, everyone. Now he can't make fun of us.
Yes.
I've saved you.
That is a foolproof plan there.
I've saved you from being canceled. So 60, that's a fun number.
Yeah. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Yeah. I don't know numbers.
It ain't mathing for you. You ever watch Impractical Jokers?
I've seen episodes here and there. My mother is a bigger fan than I am. So I hear about it from you and her.
There's this one where Sal's working in a bakery. It's just because you said the math is hard. He's working in a bakery, and they tell him to tell these people that he's not good. That he's not good with words. He's only good with numbers. And so he says, no good words, only numbers. How many yum yums you be chomping?
All right.
I'm sure he did it way better, but I say that all the time.
Is Sal the one who left the show? I know that one of them left.
Joe did.
Joe.
Do we know why?
I'm sure there's reasons.
I want to know.
The drama.
You would think I would have looked it up.
These because a lot was kind of, speaking of reality based shows, I guess. A lot of drama has been coming out with the Queer Eye on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
So they're losing just like
that's surprising.
Jokers. They're losing one of theirs.
Usually the queer community is drama free.
I know they're always so supportive of each other. Everything I've read is if nobody told me, they just said, hey, there's drama with Queer Eye. Based on looking at each one of them, the drama is exactly what I thought the drama would be. You can tell which one are the little mean girls, the 3 mean girls who are like, sorry, Katie, you can't sit with us. And he's like, well, I'm going to take my interior design degree and go somewhere else then. And then the other one's just over there on the side like, I ain't dealing with this. But yeah, it's and apparently Jonathan, the long-haired one, total diva and chaos on the set. Nobody wants to work with them.
There are times where you're describing this show, I think the same way that my father would. Yeah, you know, the long-haired one.
The little girl with her long hair.
So, you know, the thing about Impractical Jokers is, like, you have to do, if you lose the game, you have to do the punishment. And if you don't do the punishment,
you die.
No, you get kicked off the show.
Is that what happened?
I don't know.
Interesting.
But I think I heard something like he was leaving to, you know, like politicians, I'm leaving to spend more time with my family. And so I think
that means he wasn't spending enough time with his family, or he was spending too much time with someone else's family.
Oh, I know.
And he's like, I need to work on my marriage, guys. I can't be on the show. Allegedly. But again, I don't watch the show. I don't know them.
We have established that we don't know.
But I got a head nod from Caitlin, so I think I'm on the right track.
I think he must have cheated on tour.
Oh, separation from the wife, rebuilding relationships with his kids.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Got it, yeah. I'm telling you, all you have to do is Google it, and there is a template online, and they just insert name here. What's his name?
Joe Gatto.
Joe Gatto.
He was good.
I am retiring from Practical Jokers. Insert show here.
Do you know what I was watching last night? Same thing. Well, I'm obviously not the same thing. But who's the guy who was not Cuomo? Who was the governor of New York before Cuomo?
It
wasn't Wiener. No, it wasn't Wiener. It was
Wiener was a congressman. Spicer. Spicy Spicer. No.
Does it start with an S?
I don't know.
Anyway, he got caught in a thing in a sex scandal, and
he got his thing caught in a what?
That's a good one. That's a TikTok bite right there. All right, mark that down. All right.
Don't get too comfortable with TikTok.
I know, right? I saw that
Apparently,
today.
we've been talking about wanting to start TikTok. We're like, all right, we're actually going to do it, and then Congress is like, hold your roll there.
Yeah,
we're going to take it away. Try something new.
Yeah.
What about Vine? Should we start a Vine?
It does say. Check out our MySpace. I think that the design of our logo would do really good on MySpace. It's all very glittery and you know.
We could have an entire background design, like the Wine Not background, and it would be all of our glittery.
Can we put it right? Where is it?
Well, it would be digital. It would be a digital background.
Here, we need something over here.
But you could matrix it behind you, and then it would just. We should just do a live, real life MySpace screen. That'll be our backgrounds. We'll have Tom right here.
It would be better than the sadness. I know it's one of our favorite issues, but can you see it in your camera?
You can see it.
Yeah,
right here.
That's one of the most gripping, I think, stories that
most
Watermark ever wrote.
Stories,
very compelling,
so
but
compelling.
Just so.
I mean,
dark.
The talent of the writer who put that together. It was.
I'm sorry, I forgot for a second what this podcast was about, and I was trying to be serious. I don't know, but let's get more into health and fitness.
And it was an interesting story to write, and I learned a lot. I consider myself, and I think you do too, someone of a history nerd. You love learning about history, but I learned a ton about what happened with queer people, particularly gay men, during the Holocaust.
Yeah, it was awful. Awful.
So that was one of the issues we did.
So maybe we should have a background.
We'll alternate.
Caitlin, get on that.
It'll be a different background, a different issue every.
You got 3 hours. Go. All right. Well, so it was a busy week. It was an extended.
It was
period
a busy
of time.
extended week because we recorded the last podcast 3 days after the podcast before that one. Because
time travel exhausts me.
We had a lot to do. Also, I had a little procedure done, and we had to take a little time.
Well, I'm glad you came out of that okay, and I think we'll just leave it at that.
I came out of it. I sure did.
Did you not come out of it okay?
I don't know. We'll see. I'm still feeling a little bit of pain, a little uncomfortableness. Still a little bit of a process.
It reminded me of Melissa McCarthy when you just did that.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Well,
good for you.
I could be worse, people. I like Melissa McCarthy. I'll take it.
I do too.
I mean, I know nobody wants to hear the details, but I had a surgery or a procedure done. As I was telling a friend of mine, I got checked and cleaned up colon to cornholio. That whole area down there.
Well, and for those that are members...
Colorectal cancers, I guess, if you want to be technical.
For those that are members and have access to the videos that we record, that should be... You'll get to see...
You'll get to see the hand movements.
The Jeremy do an interpretive dance about the area of his body that was surgically
I think
taken care
after
of.
the Oscars in memoriam interpretive dance, I think everybody's had enough dance. But we'll get to that.
How dare you? That was beautiful.
It was, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Everything. Oh, you know what? Because I didn't stare at the dancers once. I stared at Andre Bocelli's son the entire time.
Of course you did.
Wow.
Who wouldn't?
What a handsome fella.
What a handsome lad that Bocelli is.
Good genes.
Mm-hmm. Not great, but good.
I didn't see that one coming.
So yeah, I had a procedure done, and it's a process to. I mean, there's a book about it. Everybody poops. It's a process to poop after you have a procedure done like that.
Yeah, but you should, you're a big advocate of this, and so you should tell people, right? You gotta get your anal pap smears.
Yes, if you are an individual who engages in anal coitus. Any kind of
What did you what did you
anal
call it?
coitus.
Is that what it's called?
Coitus. That's love making. A fancy term for it.
Oh, okay.
But anybody who engages in any kind of anal practices, it is encouraged for you to get an anal pap smear every year. And if they
Even
find,
if it's like solo.
I mean, better safe than sorry, right?
What?
I mean, they tell women women have to get an annual pap smear.
There's a big play on words there between anal and annual.
I know. Well, as I
Took my brain a second.
My mother hates when I call her this, but when I was home for the holidays and I was telling my family, the test came back abnormal, so we're gonna go, and they're just gonna do a procedure to kind of clean things up. And my brother asked me what procedure it was, and his in-laws were there, and I called it my annual anal. And my mother did not like that I called it that.
Different kind of AA meeting.
Oh, very well. I've never been to an AA meeting, but I assume it's very different.
You had two annual anals, two AAs.
But yeah, so if you are somebody who is in a high risk category, make sure you get your annual anal.
Hey, man, you're already there. You've already dropped it. You're already checking your prostate.
And it's nothing invasive. It's a little bristly, rubbery brush. They take some cell samples.
It's like a COVID test for your butt.
Exactly. Almost identical. Almost identical.
A little less painful than going up the nose. Isn't that weird? Don't you think?
I mean, I know. I didn't think about it that way, but
way
yes,
more uncomfortable up the nose.
a COVID exam is way more uncomfortable than your anal pap smear. So get it done.
Yeah.
So I recouped from that. So that's why we did it a few days earlier. And yeah.
You know, I had a friend who passed away of anal cancer.
I don't mean this as a joke because this is how you told me it, but in my head, whenever you tell this story, all I see is Elmo. Because you showed the only photo you ever showed me of him, he was dressed up as Elmo.
I know. Let's probably explain that a lot. You know, for Jen's, I think it was her 40th birthday. You know, Jen is one of the nicest people in the world, and I make fun of her all the time. And I'm gonna do it again in a minute when we talk about the Oscars because I rewrote the "I'm Ken" song to "I'm just Jen," and it's great. And I started singing it to her last night. But I always give her crap, right? And she's just the nicest person, and she takes amazing care of me, like when I'm here, and she just always has.
Hearing you describe this, I realize that I am Chris's Jen.
She does. I mean, she has always financially supported me, but she's also just really considerate and very nice.
Yeah.
And everybody loves her. And her birthday was coming up, and it was her 40th birthday, and somebody said, "What are you doing for her 40th birthday?" And I was like, "I don't know. I assumed we'd come here." And then they got annoyed with me, and they were like, "Why? You need to do something better.
You need to do something big for her.
You need to do something big for her." And because she always does everything for you. And I'm like, okay. So we came up with this idea, and it was this great party. We had it at SIP, which is no longer here, which ironically is where I was when they said, "What are you going to do for her birthday?" And I said, "We're probably going to come here." We did, but we had it catered. We had the whole place to ourselves. It was really nice. Her last name is, I don't want to say her last name. I want people to look her up. But it's a funny, it sounds funny.
Name.
It sounds funny. So we used to play this game where we put her last name, like we changed her last name in like with one word and movie titles and all this stuff. So I remade all of these movie posters and put her face, like it's a terrible picture of her, and I put her face on all of the movie posters and changed all of them to her. It was great. All the food had her last name in it, is the name of it. And it was really kind of cool. We flew in her mother, who didn't live in Florida at the time, to surprise her, and she loves Elmo. So we got an Elmo costume, and we had a friend of ours dress up as Elmo, and it's hilarious. And then there was this thing. He was the picture you're referring to. He was standing out on the street at Virginia Drive, just staring at traffic as he was going. And he had no idea that Jen was standing had walked up next to him and stood the same way. And we took a photo of it. It was really kind of cute. And then Elmo gave her a lap dance. It was kind of funny because we all wore these shirts that said "I'm with" and had her last name on it. And then we, even Elmo, we had like a 3X that we could put on Elmo, and he was wearing it. Everybody, I mean, we made like 130 of these shirts. It was crazy. Anyway, it was really fun. But yes, he unfortunately passed away from cancer, and so it's important for people to get checked out, catch it early.
The only thing I heard in that story was that me and Elmo were the same size shirt.
I mean, I would think it would be a bigger shirt. It's a, it's a big costume.
Yeah. Good job, Elmo. Good T-shirt.
Keep up on that Ozempic, Elmo.
Ooh, speaking of which,
Did you get approved?
Tomorrow's the day. Well, I meet with my nutritionist tomorrow. And I plead my case as to why nothing else has worked and you should give me Ozempic, which is what the VA is making me do. Which I get. They just don't want to give Ozempic to any old Yahoo out there. They want it to be a fat Yahoo who's tried everything.
Put down the Yoo-hoo, you Yahoo.
Funny, I don't really care for Yoo-hoo.
I don't either. I don't understand. It's chocolate and carbonated.
It's not carbonated. It's just not milk. And if I'm going to go the process of having, or go through the trouble of having chocolate milk, I want milk and chocolate in it.
If it's not chocolate milk, what is it? Chocolate water?
It's a chocolate drink. But I guess they mix it with water. I don't.
Well,
it
that
does
would be
not
like
taste
cocoa.
like milk.
Cocoa is just chocolate and
Cold cocoa,
water.
maybe is what it is. I don't know. I don't care for it. However, strawberry Yoo-hoo, I'm totally down for. That shit is amazing.
I don't really like strawberry flavoring of much, but that Nesquik strawberry milk, that was some good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. So in this course of, should we address our new digs? We kind of moved.
Yeah, I mean we can. I mean, ain't nobody but us seen the video, so.
Well, yet.
But you will eventually see, when you're watching the videos, you will see a shift in background.
Oh, you know what? That's funny because this will be the first video that goes on there, and even if people subscribe, they won't have seen the other. Now they'll see other ones. Well, we're gonna backtrack and put some old ones up as we go on, but we rearranged the space to have a studio outside of our break room. So it's as you look around, this used to be Jeremy's office.
Yes, I stared at that poster all the time. And these colorful blocks here are soundproofing because I'm quite loud.
Yeah, and right on the other side of that is somebody else's office from a different company.
Used to be your office.
Used to be mine.
Yeah.
So full circle.
So shifty. I don't think that's what I
meant.
meant.
We move around a lot.
I meant we move around. We're not shifty people.
It's not to avoid paying our rent.
No.
It's the same building, same landlords, so we're all paid up.
Let's
just say I used to move a lot. I'll just leave that there. I did. Do you know how many different schools I went to in consecutive years? 7 different schools in 7 consecutive years.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
We moved around what I thought was a lot, but not that much. I went to 3 different elementary schools and then 1 middle school and 2 high schools. So I think total I went to less schools than you did in that one stretch.
I mean, some of it's cheating a little bit. Like I didn't move houses this one year, but they moved the districts, so I had to move schools.
Oh.
And then it was going from like middle school then to high school. But high school here was weird. It was like the 9th grade center where all the 9th graders went to.
Oh.
And then we went to the regular high school after that.
Oh. Yeah, mine was something similar to that when we moved to St. Pete. There was something they had initiated where they were busing kids to other districts.
They were bussing?
And they bussed us into Tampa. I'm pretty sure it was in Tampa. We were living in St. Pete and bussed us into Tampa for school to Maximal Elementary. And they had, I don't know if each elementary school had this, but we had our school song that we had to sing at like assemblies and stuff. And I don't remember the school song, but I still to this day remember the lyrics for the song that the kids made up to talk about what a trash school it was. Would you like to hear it?
I think that I would, but I don't. First, I'm just curious as to what was the size of this bus that took you to the school where they made you sing?
It was a full-length bus. It wasn't a special school. There was this thing they did at the time.
Be your Maximo.
Where they would take the kids from like the neighborhood in St. Pete and they would take us to like city schools. But then, it was I don't understand. I was a child. But then I just went where they told me.
But then someone made a song about you.
Not about me.
Oh. Well, I mean,
it was
the
school song.
All right.
But I think all kids just make up. So I don't remember the actual lyrics, but the lyrics that we used to sing as kids and would laugh was Maximal penitentiary isn't where we want to be. Oh, God, now I forgot. See, I got put on the spot. Anyway, we talk about how it's a prison. And like there's one line in there where it's like blue and white are colors. And we say black and white are colors. And then they're working us to death. And then it ends with, we're here to say Maximal blew up yesterday. Hooray. Stupid little kids.
You know what's there's a song when I was in high school that I took a German class, and this lady loved German so much.
That's probably why she taught it.
Loved it. And then she made us watch The Sound of Music, and she loved it. So like I think her dream.
If you're rooting for Germany, is that the movie you want to show people?
Well, no, oh, right. Well, I mean, maybe she was part of the Germans that helped.
Oh, okay.
You know.
All right.
And so but I think she wanted to be Maria. I think that was her whole life's goal was to be Maria.
I once knew a girl named Maria.
But she taught us a song. I don't even know what the original song is, but it's like da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na-na. You know that?
Yeah.
But it was all the pronouns of in German. And so I could sing that song easily, but don't know the words to the original.
Did they make you pick a German name while you were in your German class? I don't know why I said 9.
9.
Because I did French, 4 years of French in high school, and Madame Bublé made us Bubre. I don't remember.
Michael Bublé was your teacher?
Yes. And she made us pick French names. And I couldn't come up with one, so she suggested Jacques. And this guy in the back of the class said, Jacques Strap. And that is what they called me for 4 years of French.
Oh, little did they know that name would stick with you beyond the 4 years.
That. Anyway, so I was just curious if they made you pick some stupid German
No,
name.
I just remember this. I remember my French teacher. I took German for one semester, but I took French most of the time. And I had this teacher, forget her name, but it did start Mademoiselle. Madame, and she had like purple hair that you couldn't tell was necessarily purple until she stood in the window and it backlit her and you could tell it was purple. But she asked what my name was, and I said Rick, and then she leaned forward and went Richard.
Oh my!
Scared the piss out of me. So that's what I remember of her, and that's all the French I remember.
Oh.
No, I remember. Did you watch the videos? Was it like Mireille and somebody? Like, she was very immersive. Like, we watched these completely French videos where there was no English and she talked very little English. She was like, you got to get in there. And it was Mireille and somebody else. It was about all their adventures.
I feel like we did watch French cartoons. I just don't remember what they were. But I feel like we did. I know that we watched some videos.
It was a good time. I do like French. I wish I could speak it. I wish I could go there. I like freedom fries.
Oui.
I already did.
Oh, all right. So yeah, fun times.
Anyway,
we
were getting to the point where we're going to talk about our week. This is going to be a 4-hour long session here today.
Let's see. The only thing that I want to talk about, and then I'll let you go, because I know you went to a bunch of events and stuff, and you met heroes and icons and all that kind of good jazz. The only thing I want to point out is something that we talked about in the last episode. And I don't want to call anyone out by name. But if you listened to the past episode and heard me rave about a particular cleaning service I use, do not use them. So I found out.
Oh, right, because I told everybody about this.
Yeah. So signing up for it, they say it's a $19 initial cleaning fee. The first cleaning is $19, and then if you sign up for this program, that you can have you get once a month. It's for 2 or 3 hours. They come in, and it's $49 a month. So the $19 charge comes out. I rate her. I give her a 5. I was like, yeah, she was great. Between you, me, and everyone listening, she wasn't great. Like, there were things I was like, there was like dust bunnies under the couch and stuff, but $19. She did pretty good for $19. So then I get a charge for $49. So it's like, oh, they must have already booked me for my next one. And I get a message that says your monthly fee has been charged. Make sure to book with your cleaning lady. So I sent them an email. Apparently, it's a $50 membership for them to connect me with people who clean houses. And I'm like, bitch, I don't need you to connect me. I can find someone who cleans houses. What deal is this? And like, well, we get you discounts and breaks and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no, that's bullshit. Cancel that. And they charged me a $150 cancellation fee. So do not use them. I won't use their name, but if you're on Facebook or social media or flipping through TikTok and something says get your house cleaned for $19, clean it yourself and save your $19. Use $19 to buy some Arm & Hammer magic erasers because those things are fucking amazing.
Army Hammer makes erasers?
Ooh, Army Hammer makes something.
He likes to make some erase some headlines.
He makes some steak and sausage out of you. Allegedly. He's hot though.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's not the one I would pick in that relationship.
What relationship?
Call Me by Your Name.
Oh, well, no, because you have a type.
Oh man, I wish that I was in your brain and that I knew what you were about to say because it was gonna be nasty.
No. Well, at first, because I was confused with that relationship, and I was like, him and his wife? I wasn't connecting the movie.
No, him and the boy.
Timothée Chalamet. Timmy Tim, if you're on TikTok. Have you seen the Timmy Tim videos? We're going to run into a lot of this as we get into the next generation of like celebrities, like the big stars. But Timothée Chalamet has an online footprint, and he apparently decided before he wanted to be an actor, he was going to be the next Eminem rapper. And he has got some embarrassing videos online that I spent a good 2 hours scrolling through TikTok watching, and they are ridiculous.
Now, does he post these?
Yeah. He posted them. He's like, look how cool I am. No, Timmy Tim. No, his rap name is Timmy Tim.
Does he rap a God Bless Us Everyone?
No, he raps.
Because don't you think someone named Timmy Tim should?
He raps. Well, the one that like was going around a lot is there's one of him. I think maybe it was a school project, and he's rapping about his statistics teacher. And then there's one where he is at a talent show, a school talent show, and all the kids are cheering. They're like, "Yeah, Timmy Tim," and he's just ridiculous. If you have any kind of attraction to that man, watch those stupid videos. It erases everything.
Timmy.
But yeah, so I forget how we got there. But yes.
Army Hammer. That's how we got there.
If you were asking me which one I would pick, I would rather risk getting eaten by a 6'5" man than hang out with Timmy Tim for 5 minutes. Although I did see Dune 2 and it was really good.
Is it? I haven't watched 2 because I haven't seen the first one.
Oh, well, it's on a bunch of streaming services now. The first one, it reminds me a lot of The Lord of the Rings. Like Fellowship of the Ring is all build up. That's what the first movie is. And then the second movie, it reminded me like if Star Wars met Game of Thrones. Like it's a lot of like political play. And some of it was good. Some of the things that Timmy Tim did, I was not a fan of. I don't like the way he behaved.
I feel like I'm gathering that he's the evil person in this. Or that he's good gone evil.
It's kind of
when good Timmy Tims go bad.
It's one of those things where it seems like everybody. I mean, there's one particular person who's good, Zendaya, but when is she not? But everybody else.
Have you not seen Euphoria?
She's struggling. Leave her alone.
Oh my
she's
God,
trying.
the girl that's in Euphoria,
Which one?
The cheerleader. I don't know if she's really a cheerleader. The one the
one who was just on SNL.
The one the hot guy's dating. Yeah, she was just on SNL.
Yeah. Not good.
Not.
Good. I don't really watch SNL anymore, but I heard back to back her and Jacob Elordi, who I guess is also on Euphoria. That and SNL. I noticed this when I used to watch. They do this thing where if somebody really attractive comes on, the entire show is about how pretty they are or how attractive they are, and all the skits circle around that, and they don't focus on trying to bring talent out in them. I didn't watch either one of those episodes, so I don't know. But that's what.
Did you watch this last weekend?
I watched the cold opening.
It was delicious.
And I watched Weekend Update. Which is I pull those up on YouTube the next day and watch those because they're the only ones I care about.
Michael Che had a hard time getting people to laugh. It was funny though.
He did. But Scarlett Johansson as
Perfection.
Brit, so good.
Perfection.
Amazing. This is why Colin Jost married her. For this, he was keeping her in the reserves. He's like, it's time to call you in.
I know when she showed up on the screen, Jen's like, oh my God. And I went, I wonder how they got her.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They were probably in bed having a glass of wine, watching the State of the Union. And she came on and looked at him and said, I'm going to do that.
It's not like she had to be in California the next day.
Did she?
No.
Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah, she didn't have. That's what I said. It's not like she had to be there in California, so she was free. All of her friends were busy at an award show, but she was.
Oh, she wasn't at the Oscars.
Right. So
we haven't talked about the Oscars yet, so I didn't know.
well, don't say Scarlett Johansson looked amazing at the Oscars because she wasn't there. I don't know. She might have been there.
I mean, all those people have planes that fly them in 2 seconds. They can be wherever they want.
Yeah.
Anyway, how was your week?
It was busy. Do you want to hear about every single thing?
I would like you to pick your 3 favorite things.
So, yes, you would like to hear about it. I just want to acknowledge that we had our Wave Award parties, the Watermark Awards for Variety and Excellence. It was at Savoy here in Orlando, and it was a great time. And then it was at Cocktail in St. Pete, and they were great times. It's always fun. It's a really nice event because everyone's so happy. Let me say that again. 99% of the people are so happy to be picking up their awards to get their photos taken, and it's really kind of a cool thing. But I just want to. Who is it that sang in the Orlando one? That did the Yeti striptease.
Rhea why can't I am drawing a blank on her name. Ray Risque, I think is what it is.
But she is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
She can sing. That's all I'm saying. She can sing. Anyway, so that was great. Good times.
I do want to mention that the Central Florida Wave Party did get a lap dance from a drag queen. So that's how my week went.
You did. And you got some attention from the Yeti, too.
I did. I don't know if I was just in the seat that it's like that's the seat that all the entertainment is drawn to, or if I just had come fuck with me eyes that day.
And I was sitting next to you. And then I noticed that Dylan was standing up to take photos, and where I was sitting was where you were sitting was a good view. So I said, Dylan, do you want to sit here and take photos? And so he did. And immediately then everyone came up to you, and I thought, I'm so glad that I moved. I hate audience participation, and I would have been so uncomfortable. Anyway, went to see. So I know it's not the 50th anniversary tour anymore, but I'm going to guess somehow that COVID maybe messed things up. I don't know. But the 50th anniversary tour of Jesus Christ Superstar made its way to the Straz in Tampa. And it's incredible. Did you see it when it was at Dr. Phillips?
I did not.
Do you like Jesus Christ Superstar? Do you know anything about it?
I mean,
it's about Jesus.
It's my brother's favorite musical. And I know that it goes like Jesus Christ Superstar.
You know how in the 80s, was it the 80s or 90s when Buffy the Vampire Slayer did a musical version?
Yes.
This is our musical version of the podcast. Where I'll hum tunes, Jeremy will sing. No, so I'm speaking to Joey at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So Joey, if this is your
turn your radio up, Joe.
This is your favorite movie. Joey, put it down. Listen. This is the best version of the show that has ever existed. This is the version you need to see.
Better than the John Legend live on NBC version?
Who?
What? John Legend won an Emmy for the Jesus Christ Superstar live on NBC.
People win Emmys who go onto a show and have 3 lines.
I didn't see it, so I don't know how many lines he had.
Well, he played Jesus. He has all the lines.
John Legend did?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. No, there you go.
Yeah, John Legend was Jesus, which, of course, caused an uproar for morons in the world that couldn't deal with it.
Because he's black?
Yes.
Really? Wasn't Jesus black?
Well, not to white people in America.
I assumed everyone was black back then.
And they assume everyone was white back then.
I mean, if you're a biblical person,
right?
You think that the birth of humanity is somewhere in Africa.
Yeah,
you're all black.
Yeah,
every one of you.
Ding 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 ding.
And me.
So anyway, I just want to point out, it's just really cool. It was just cool. I want to talk about it forever because it was so good. Now I'm a fan of the show.
Yeah.
Are you looking at the clock? You're going to give me a time limit.
I was going to make a joke. I was like, you've got 4 minutes.
I know. I was like, I'm getting a time limit here. Anyway, the style of it was crazy. It was sort of this. It's like this. It's almost like 300 meets Jesus Christ Superstar. But it was just this.
God, now I want to see.
It was so incredibly good. And then but there's like this. Do you know? Are you familiar with the Bible?
Yes,
or
I am familiar with the story of
the
Jesus.
storyline of Jesus.
Yeah.
So Pontius Pilate.
Yeah.
No, that's not Herod. King Herod.
Yeah.
Has this really sort of effeminate song that's really like campy and vampy.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you're Jesus Christ, like turn my water into wine or walk across my swimming pool and then I'll let you go free. Blah blah blah. This whole thing, and it's just this like. It's always been this super effeminate played character or whatever. So like I describe the stage. It's this huge cross that is the stage, and they use it as the table for the Last Supper. They use it to people like a catwalk that people walk down. And but then when King Herod comes out to sing, he's wearing like this thing that I could only be described as something you would expect to see if Christian Serrano, do you know who that is? He won. He creates a lot of the dresses in the Oscars, and he did like a pre-show about the fashion. Anyway, he won. What's the fashion competition show?
Project
Top
Runway.
Gun? Top Gun?
Oh.
No, Top Gun. Tim Gunn did. Oh my God.
Project Runway.
Ooh, I should start drinking again. I feel like I'm having a conversation with myself at this point. Anyway, so he won that Project Runway. Anyway, so this is incredible, like puffy, weird kind of dress thing that's like that goes on for miles. It had this feel of like when that person in 300 showed up. Am I down to a minute now?
Yeah, you're fine.
Where you know, with the guy that ran the Peruvians came out.
Prussians.
Yeah. There you go. And all facts. You can tell if you ever thought this was rehearsed, you now know it's not. But it was just this really cool, gorgeous thing, and he's doing this show, and then boom, it all rips off, and it's like got this gold disco ball feel to it, but it's not uniform. It's just different angles of pieces of gold in this mosaic thing, and when the lights hit it, like gold shined everywhere. It was insane, and it was rock concert-y. Like the main characters when they were singing were holding microphones, and it was just the most amazing production. I just love it. It's playing actually. Joe, if you're listening to this right now, it's currently playing right now. Well, let's say you listen to this at 7 o'clock tonight. Yeah, it's playing in Melbourne, but it's playing in Melbourne again tomorrow. So go buy a ticket. It's playing all over the place until May. I know he likes to travel and go see shows. Mm-hmm. Find out where this is playing. Go see it. It's that good. And buy me a ticket. I'll go with you.
I'll wait till the DVD comes out.
Anyway, so wherever you are listening to this, if the 50th anniversary tour of Jesus Christ Superstar is making its way to you, and you have any like of this music whatsoever, this is what you want to go to see. In fact, it was so enjoyable. Do you know how much I hate it when people sing or make noise in the audience?
Sure.
There was this elderly woman sitting next to me, and when I Don't Know How to Love Him came on, she was singing quietly to herself so that I could hear it, but I didn't get mad, and I didn't like look at her and give her that Ellen side eye. I was just like, oh, she probably has like loved this show for so many years and waited forever to be able to go see it, and she's really she loves it so much she didn't know she was singing.
Sounds like you felt the power of Jesus.
Of Jesus Christ Superstar. So anyway, that's really good. I'm so glad I got tickets to go see that. It's one of the best shows I've ever seen. So I did that, and then recently, a couple days ago, last week, I got to go see Mandy Patinkin.
Yeah.
For those who don't know who he is, but like who don't like musical theater and don't know that he won a Tony as I forget his name. Shay and
Evita.
And Evita. He was the original Shay and Evita, and won a Tony for that. He was in The Secret Garden, which was really good.
He was in Criminal Minds.
Well, I was getting to the TV.
Oh,
so
you were working.
For those who don't
you
know.
were chronologically going.
But he was in Chicago Hope. He was in
Princess Bride.
Yeah, very famous for that. Which at one point during the show, he was singing the song about just like movement and or like your memory or something like that. And he's like, sometimes you just remember a pose or thing. And he was standing in the pose of Inigo Montoya from The Princess Bride, and he froze there for a second. Then everybody started clapping. He is such a good performer. I can't describe to you how good this was.
I bet you'll try.
I will try. Do I have 8 minutes? No, yeah. He was. I usually don't like shows if I don't know what the people are singing, and I only knew about 10% of what he was singing. But he's just so insanely good at it. So good. You know that when they talk about people, they do this on American Idol all the time. They're like, you could sing the phone book and everybody would listen, and you're like, I doubt it. He legit could sing the phone book and everybody would listen. The first song he sang was Inchworm. And I was like, he's so good.
I am unfamiliar with Inchworm.
I'm not going to sing it for you, but it was a medley of children's songs.
Huh. All right.
Yeah. And then at one point he sang It's Not Easy Being Green.
Good song.
Kermit the Frog.
Yeah.
And it was so good. And at one point, and the way he just describes things, he's so entertaining. He's like, because at the end of the show, he went back and listed all the songs that he sang and who sang them. And he gets to this one, and he's like, oh, and this song was called Bohemian Rhapsody by a group named Queen, which made me laugh because it reminded me of Drop Dead Gorgeous. When a group of boys calling themselves Queen top the chart. So anyway, he's so good. He does this thing that I love too, where, and I saw him like 20 years ago, like forever ago, in Daytona, and these people walked in late, and he made fun of them when they walked in late, and it was so funny to me, and I tell everybody the story, and then it happened like 3 or 4 times. It was so great that somebody would walk in, and he would just stop, and he's like, "Oh yeah, more late people. Well, that's just what kept you? What was going on?" And it just like harasses them all the way to their seat. But then, like, the last person that came in late, she was really late. And he came in, and you could see the usher with the flashlight trying to find her seat, and they were having difficulty, and he's just narrating this whole thing. He's like, oh, seems to be a lot of problems going on there. Nope, that's not it. Not that seat. Maybe over there. And finally, she sits down, and he goes, so where were you? And she goes, I was crying in my car. To which Jen, the nicest person in the world, busted out laughing. Like, busted out. The only noise in the entire theater was the one person sitting next to me.
Well, we know who made the lady cry.
Yeah, busted out laughing. And then she quickly, like, smacked her face on her hand, and she looks at me, and she's like, oh, my God. But then he looked at the lady, and he said, I mean, there was this long pause, and he was like, do you need a hug? And she walked up to the stage, and he hugged her. And then she went back to her seat. It was very sweet. But I looked at Jen, and I was like, girl, you know I'm going to talk about this in the podcast.
Did we not ask why she was crying?
I mean, if she was crying for 5 or 6 songs in her car, I think that she probably
should have just gone home.
She's probably done talking. She didn't need to talk it out. She was done. So that was really good. But there were these people next to me. I want to describe to you. The entire row in front of me was empty.
Yeah.
And 6 seats this way and 6 seats this way were empty. And then here come these 2 people. I like to say it was me and Jen when we first met. Because, I mean, he was gay.
Sure. Yeah.
Is that funny, Caitlin? He was gay. She was clearly not. And they were having a theatrical moment. And they sat down next to me and laughed the entire fucking show. Like as if, but you know, we try not to laugh. So the seat's just shaking the whole time. for an hour and a half just because this kid won't stop laughing. And I'm like, I don't know if he's like giddy because he's like, oh my God, I'm thinking Mandy Patinkin. Or it's like, or if he's just laughing because Mandy sometimes sings dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the whole thing was, but Jen was getting mad. And I just looked at her and I was like, no. It's like, do you remember when you and I went to go see Les Mis and we laughed all the way through it? Every time somebody died, we laughed. It's because we had listened to the show so much that we would make fun of the cadence of how they would sing, and then when they would do it in the show, we'd start laughing. So we probably annoyed people who paid good money for tickets, and I tell her, sometimes we get caught in a situation like that. I'm like, it's karma. We just have to live with it. So that was super good. He's such a good storyteller, too. He sat down and told a story for a while, like I'm doing right now.
Sure.
But he was way better at it. So that was really good.
What was the story?
He talked about his family. He talked about his family and how his father was obsessed with records, and he talked about the 3 records he would play all the time, and that he then took Mandy to Broadway to see a show. It was their first vacation they ever took, just as father and son, and they went and saw Mame. They saw Angela Lansbury in Mame, and it was this really cool moment for the father, and he's like asking the kid, he's like, do you mind if I wait around? And he waited around for like 45 minutes to get her autograph, and he was in heaven and he loved it. And so then he tells the story about when he was first on Broadway, that he was at some party and he wanted to get out of there. So he goes into this room and he sits down and he's talking to this Broadway legend, and is, always asked, like, how do you have a family and do this job? And that most people who say, oh, it's easy, or we're alcoholics. And he's like, but this person wasn't. And she was giving him advice and all that. So he told the story about her father, and it was to Angela Lansbury. That's who he was talking to, and it was this great moment. And then in that moment, Stephen Sondheim walks in, and that's where he met Stephen Sondheim, and then he broke out into a medley of Stephen Sondheim songs.
Did he sing Being Alive?
Well, that's the name of the tour.
Well, I would hope that he sang it then.
Of course he did, and he sang it very well.
That is my favorite Sondheim song, and I saw Bernadette Peters, one of her PBS specials or something, and she sang that, and it is absolutely my favorite version of that song.
Yeah, he was super good at it. I did see, when I saw him, like, whatever it was, decades ago, he sang Not a Day Goes By, which is my favorite Stephen Sondheim song. All very good.
Very nice, very nice.
So that was all fabulous. And then there was Pride Night at the fair. We should give a shout out to that.
We went to the fair. We went to an animal fair. The birds and bees were there. The big baboon by the light of the moon was combing his velvet hair. Am I the only one who sang nursery rhymes as a child?
It's not one of the ones Mandy Patinkin sang at his concert. So. You
ought to have seen the monk. He sat on the elephant's trunk. The elephant sneezed and fell on his knees. And what became of the monk? The monk? You don't have a microphone, Caitlin. Stop answering. No, yes, we went to the fair. It was actually a lot of fun. It was 2 days after my surgery, so I was worried that I was going to be crabby. But I took some pain pills before I went, and it was a delightful time.
It was. Although I just have to, we have little spreadsheets where we go to an event, we come back and we take notes on like how to make the next year better for us that we go to do.
Did you put Percocet down?
all I'm gonna write, and no offense to fair people, but I just want to say, don't eat the food. For me, it's a note for me. You all eat it, but so I was on a hunt.
In everyone else's defense, you overdid a little bit.
Here's what it starts. I start off with this. I love like stadium nachos. So if you've got like a can of nacho cheese and you're gonna pour it over tortilla chips and slather it with jalapenos, I'm on it.
Yeah.
Right? So I was all over it. So we ate that.
So we did not. I did a delightful Philly cheesesteak nachos, which was wonderful. And you, like you said, basically just said chips, pour the canned cheese, sprinkle it generously with pickled jalapenos, and I'm good.
Yeah. And I was. And I ate it.
Were you?
At the moment. I ate it, and it was delicious. And then I decided I needed dessert. And I wanted fried Oreos, because you got to get fried something. I wanted fried Oreos, and I wanted ice cream. And they didn't exist together. So I had to go to a place and buy the ice cream. and then go to a place and buy the Oreos and put them together. I didn't need to eat all of it.
But you did.
I did, and then I was so
but
not.
You did, Blanche.
I know,
you
and
did.
I regretted it immediately and for hours and days afterwards.
Painful.
I mean, I'm just gonna say there's something about the combination of not real dairy ice cream and grease and nacho cheese swimming around in your stomach that is not. It's not good. And last year I got sick too, and I was like, ugh. You know, or you did last year, I think.
Yeah, last year, that's why I was like, nachos, and that's it. I destroyed myself last year. For like a week, I felt gross. I couldn't eat. I couldn't look anyone in the face. It's disturbing.
I broke all my mirrors. It was terrible.
But one thing we did do there when we first got there that was kind of fun is they had the Blockbuster experience.
Yes.
So they had a makeshift, for those who are old enough to remember, they recreated Blockbuster, and you go in, and they give you the Blockbuster vest, and you get to be employed for while you're there.
Yeah, and I will say this, that it actually, to me, it smelled like Blockbuster.
It had a Blockbuster odor.
I mean, how did they get that?
I think it's just the smell of VHS. Yeah, that plastic and that cardboard,
and popcorn mixed with popcorn. Yeah,
but yeah, they had the shelves set up with DVDs and videos, VHS, and you could buy them for $5 if you wanted. They had an excellent selection of 80s and 90s VHS.
You know what I thought was really cool? You know those like little, I don't know what to call them, displays of different movies that
the
you'll
little
see
cardboard displays. Yeah,
but they, Blockbuster had little ones. And they had one.
Oh, really?
Well, they had just like the one. Remember the Anthem one? It wasn't this huge thing. It was like this big.
You remember the True Lies one there?
Yeah.
Our Blockbusters had stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they had this one for this movie called Anthem, which, if you're a gay boy my age who saw this movie as a kid, it's one of the things when we talk about things that make you gay, you forget about this, but it had Mitch Gaylord, is that his name?
I don't know.
Look up Mitch Gaylord. Was he a gymnast in the 80s? I mean, I've been nailing all of these today, so I'm pretty sure that's not his name. But I feel like Gaylord is either his first name or last name, which of course caught my eye. But it's Mitch Gaylord. He's an actual gymnast who stars in this movie as a gymnast. And he's shirtless a lot of the time, and he's gorgeous, and I love that movie. So when I walked into this Blockbuster and saw that there, I was like, how much for that? That's black.
I have never seen that movie, but I might check it out. I hear it's oh yeah, I saw they had the cover of that. That's the display he saw. But I've never seen the movie.
Do an image search of.
Well, he's got his shirt off and everything. He's got his abs out.
Oh, okay, there you go. I was going to give you words to find this picture that I thought, no, I can't admit that to people that I string these words together to find images. So we're going to move on past that.
But yeah, so it was a good time.
Yeah.
We watched some dogs perform.
Oh my God.
That was
I forgot all about the dog show. Oh my God. You know what's great about it? They clearly like border collies. But they rescue animals and then they train them on how to do things.
And it was very cute. Was it out of this world fantastic? It was very cute. It was a stupid show.
I will say this
it was cute dogs, but it was a stupid show.
I will say this about Pride Night at the Fair. It brings out the most diverse group of people that I've ever seen at a location in my life. I mean, you range in economic status, you range in ethnic background. It is the most diverse group of people gathered for the same cause that I've ever seen at an event. And I find that awesome. I think that's something that the center does really well.
Yeah. You mean specifically for the LGBT?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was going to say there was a very specific kind of people outside of that went to the fair.
Yes, but also some of those people were there.
They were also
our
fair people.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very very interesting. And then come on, that dog show. Bless their hearts. Bless their heart. Didn't Britt say that? Bless his heart.
Oh, bless his heart. God, she's an idiot.
That was that was like, okay, we'll talk about State of the Union real quick because
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I listened
You
to
didn't?
it. No, I listened because I was driving from,
if you want,
because we left the fair.
because we love just changing things up right on air. We could push Feud off and talk about both episodes next episode.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about the Oscars after this. But let's
Oh
talk
yeah,
about the
because we
State of
don't
the
want to
Union.
lose sight of the Oscars.
Yeah.
'Cause last time when we were only doing an hour-long show was 55 minutes, which we're at right now. We had 5 minutes left to go, and I was like, Jeremy, you have 5 minutes to talk about the Oscars. He's like, fuck you. So, but we were limited to an hour.
And fuck Mandy Patinkin.
Like, Jeremy's like, Rick, you're doing nothing next week because you're not going to talk for 45 minutes about the boring shit you did.
No, I do want to talk about the State of the Union now.
Right. So it was right after the fair, right? Because it was going on the same
It
night.
was Thursday. No, so the fair was Wednesday, and then
okay. So I saw Mandy Patinkin.
Yeah.
And then I
that's
left to drive back to St. Pete after Mandy Patinkin.
So you listened to it.
So I listened to it, and I was like, I'm glad that I listened to it instead of watching it. But I just thought the whole time I was like, damn, he sounds good.
Oh my God, he looked good too. It was, and I was one of those who it's like, it's not like I'm not going to vote for Joe Biden, but his age and his senile moments, we'll call them, were making me nervous. But he was on.
Yeah,
He was fired up.
You know what? Like the guys on Saturday Night Live make fun of him with his eyes being like this. But when I watched the clips of it and they were wide open, I was like, what did they do? Did they pull back his? Did they tape his eyelids up so that you could see his eyes? I don't know, but he was great.
Yeah, I don't remember his exact wording, so this is paraphrasing. But when he was talking about the immigration bill, and the Republicans were like, "Boo to that bill," and he goes, "The conservative bill? You didn't like the conservative bill? No fooling!" And I was like, he was hilarious.
Right.
He's like, "I'll be darned."
Yeah, he was.
He felt like Jimmy Stewart from Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. I loved it.
That's the Malarkey man.
Yeah.
Of course he's,
malarkey.
So he was just great.
Yeah.
And I was really excited. I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear what people have to say because there's all this like, I don't subscribe to the idea that people are too old. I think this: if you think people are too old to be president, then maybe you have an age limit. Like, or you have to be a certain age to be able to run for president, then maybe you should cap it. And if you do that, great. If you don't do that, then maybe there's not a problem with it. So if he can,
I don't think there's not a problem with it. I just think that there's a lot of things that we don't do in this country that would make sense. And not capping presidency. And I thought he looked great at the State of the Union. I'm sure he'll be great for 4 years. I don't think an 83-year-old or a 77-year-old should be running for president.
Right. And I think that if the majority of people feel that way, then maybe they should add it to the Constitution that at a certain age.
But they won't.
But I think this particular person, I think, will carry out that term and do a great job doing it. But that's just, that's my personal political view. But I'm sitting in my car and I'm because I hear all this negative stuff about his age. But so I'm like, I can't wait to hear what all the pundits have to say.
Yeah.
Because he was great. So I want to relish in that moment and hear all that good stuff. And then in the middle of it, they're talking about it, and then they're like, oh, hold on, we're going now to the Republican response. Holy shit. The Republican response was like, I don't know, it was kind of heaven in a way, like delicious, terrible. Like,
yeah.
Like it sounded to me, I'm listening. I can't see what this person looks like. And I'm thinking, is she about to cry the whole time? Like, is she about to cry? And it kind of sounded like a hostage video.
Yeah.
It was just like she was being forced to say all this stuff.
Yeah. I almost feel sorry for you that you didn't get to see all the visual with it when you were hearing it, because half of the enjoyment of watching that is her fucking crazy eyes. And she just looks psychotic. And she's just like, She looked like Winona Ryder when she was at the SAG Awards, is what she looked like. Like a freaking psycho. And I honestly believe that the Republican leadership got together and they were like, listen, fuck Donald Trump. Who can we put out there who's going to look so fucking stupid that we can just point and laugh at them? And they said, Katie Britt, she's a fucking idiot. And they're like, yeah, she's an idiot. Put her out there.
The thing is that I hear that she's actually really nice and smart, according to Joe Scarborough on Morning Joe, that she's like really smart, and he's had a conversation with her, and I thought, well, this is refreshing. There's like this young Republican politician that's going to be great. And then he's like, then I saw that, and I thought, what the hell happened? Now, I know this can happen. I know this can, because the internet can do anything. Just because you mentioned Winona Ryder and that thing when she was at the SAG Awards and was looking around all crazy like, and then somebody did a video where they made flying pizza slices fall in her mouth. I
love
need
that video.
Somebody to please take this video of this woman on the State of the Union rebuttal and just make pizza slices fly in her mouth and then post it to our socials, because I need to see that. Anyway, so then I didn't see it. I just heard it, and then I talked to Jen, and Jen was like, she's crazy. But then when I loved that everybody was talking about how they, I saw memes that said, I have never been able to predict the cold open to SNL as much as I can right now. And they did not disappoint.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson was insanely funny. Now I'm going to have to go back and watch, because I know a lot of what she was saying was in there.
Yeah.
But you know what's the craziest thing about it? This is the craziest thing about it. She told a story about
I know what you're going to mention.
A rape that she says happened in this country, completely suggesting that it happened under Biden's watch, and how awful he was to have things like this happen. And is this the same person that about the button that he was given?
No, the button was Marjorie Taylor Greene. But
was it the same story?
No.
Okay,
no.
Good. At least that wasn't so stupid. So anyway, she's telling this whole story and making all these accusations and how this story happened 20 years ago when George Bush was president. I mean, come on.
And she didn't meet her and her tell her the story. They were on a panel together. She's an idiot.
Happened in Mexico.
She's a liar.
A liar.
She's a
That's the thing.
harlot.
And
a travesty.
Do not sit there and invoke good old Jesus and Alabama home cooking and kitchens and families and wholesomeness while you're lying through your fucking teeth. I swear, it's just the most obnoxious thing. Just tell the truth. The truth is always more compelling.
Yeah. And
just
I
tell
mean,
the truth.
I was shocked, appalled, and surprised that a great state of Alabama that has such a noble, truthful line of politicians would put this lady up.
I'm glad that you mentioned it. So what the hell was the line about we love in vitro? What was that shit all about? Your state just stopped it.
Yeah. If you had me rank all 50 states and said, list them in the order of where you would live, I would list all the countries of Africa and Asia and Europe and all the other planets before I listed Alabama.
I hear it's nice and breezy and chilly on Pluto.
That's not a planet.
Not anymore. Look, I'm gonna show this to people who might be watching. This tattoo right here is of my birth sign, which is a Capricorn.
Sure.
Like a week after I got this, they said Pluto's not a planet, and they changed the astrological chart. And I was like, they better not have changed my birthday. I would have been mad. But I saw a Capricorn, so it's all good.
Nice. This is why I don't tattoo specifically things that have to do with dates and stuff on my body, and also why I don't believe in astrological zodiac signs. Although I am a Gemini, and that's totally a Gemini thing to say.
Do you know what's funny? Oh my God. It's so stupid. I have a tattoo down my side here that says "To thine own self be true." Not because I'm a theater geek or whatever,
sure,
but because that's just a thing that I was said over and over again when I got sober. So I have that tattooed here, and then I've got my sobriety date tattooed right there. And
did you used to repeat that in the mirror to yourself? Like, was that your daily affirmation?
I kind of did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because if I tattooed my daily affirmation down my side of what I say to myself every morning in the mirror, it would say, "You're such a fat bitch. Do something about this. You embarrass yourself."
Oh my God.
All right, let's start the day.
Do you need a hug?
Nope. I need more wine.
I can get Mandy on the phone.
I would take a hug from Mandy.
So, but I have the sobriety date there, but it's small compared to the rest of it, and that's in case I fall off the wagon. I can just cross it out and put the new date next to it. I think I can fall off the wagon 4 or 5 times and still not.
I like that you're inspirational yet practical.
All right, so we did watch episode 7 of Feud. But we're gonna hold that off and talk about it later because I feel like episode 7 is where it could have ended.
Yes,
and
it might be good to tie them in together as a wrap up,
right? Or as a wrap, which we'll work on.
Yes. Ooh, I just had a couple of lines come to me. What rhymes with "I fucking hate you"?
All right, so let's talk about the Oscars.
We will Academy Awards.
We will try to somehow tie this into all the LGBTQ aspects of it, but we're going to talk about the whole thing.
We're going to talk about the whole thing, and I bet I could come up with a gangle for everything.
Now, I don't have. Did you print out the thing and write down who you thought was going to win?
I was right on all of them. I'm not even
Were
joking.
You really?
Yeah.
Even the short animateds and all that?
Yes. And only because, more so than any year since I have been watching the Oscars, only one category was a true nail biter. Everything was favored far and ahead to win in the category that it was in. There were some that we was like, well, this one might win. But almost every single category, it was like, this is probably going to win. I mean, this is just the pinnacle of what the best of this category was this year. And every one of them won. There were no surprise. The only surprise was Best Actress because it was a 50-50 shot whether it was going to be.
And you picked her for Best Actress.
Yes. And I picked that. I have reasons.
All right.
We'll get to the reasons. But yes, I picked Emma Stone because she was the Best Actress.
I think I missed 7, but I thought that was pretty good. Yeah. I watched all the films except for the shorts. Now, when it came to like documentary, I watched the previews for documentary,
right.
and then I based my decision based on the previews, and I got it right.
Yeah.
But I just want to point this out. I mean, we can talk about it when we get to it too. But what's the one? I don't. The sheets are in my desk. I forgot to bring them. The name of the one about the memory.
The documentary.
Yeah.
I have the list right here. Hold on. It was The Eternal Memory.
Okay. If you're walking around and you're feeling super happy and you think that you need some balance in your life, if you're thinking to yourself, man, life is good, God is good, life is good, everything's wonderful, and you think it's just too good to be true, I need something to smack me down a peg or two, just watch the freaking preview of this. I was bawling at the preview. It's 2 minutes, and I thought I could never watch this. I mean, I'm going to because I'm like psycho. Like I'm like, oh, if you need a good cry, oh my God. I was Jed and I laughed for 30 minutes after I watched that preview because I thought how ridiculous it was that I cried that much at a preview. Whew.
Yeah.
I put that should win because I did a should and I did a did win. Or this is what I think will win and this is what I think should win.
Have you seen 21 Days in Mariupol?
No, but that's got to be good. That's
got to be so good. It's on Max and it won and should have won and deserved to win.
I know where they should play that movie. House of Representatives.
Perhaps.
Anyway. Well, let's go. I mean, you're going to dictate this. You want to go through the order that the things went?
Yeah. Well, I thought maybe what we'll do is we'll talk about the opening, and then we can give like a couple of the highlights that we like were our favorite moments, and then we can talk about each of the awards if you want.
All right.
So, what did you think of the opening? I'll use that air quotes because what opening? I hated it. I hated the way it opened.
You mean him sitting on the bench with Barbie?
Well, I mean, even that, it was like, what, 3 seconds?
Yeah.
It was just very short, and then he came out and made a lot of what I thought were tasteless jokes. Like, we get it. RDJ had a substance abuse problem.
Okay, the only thing that I wrote, I mean, we watch different shows. Well, we're different people, and that's why this works so well. Gosh, if we gave everything 2 thumbs up, how boring would our show be? I thought he was hilarious.
Did you?
I loved every second of it, except I thought the Robert Downey Jr. jokes were a little too kept going. Like when he went like that, like, oh, you hit it on the nose, and then he had to make another joke about, oh, is that some kind of a drug motion? No, it's not. He didn't pull a key out. That's the drug motion.
Yeah.
But the oh, come on, you didn't think it was funny about Robert De Niro being he said, I wrote down that specific joke was hilarious, and it made Robert De Niro, who was otherwise very sour the entire evening, laugh. But when he said that, what was it, 40 years ago, Robert De Niro and Jodie Foster were both nominated for an Academy Award, and now they're nominated again. And what's different about it is now Jodie Foster is too old to be in the dating range.
Well,
of
also
Robert
probably
De Niro.
because she's a lesbian. She's not going to date Robert De Niro. But no, I did not think that was a clever joke. I did not think any of his jokes were clever. I thought once the show got going and his little pop-ins were cute and funny. I like that he ended on what Donald Trump thought of his performance. But his monologue in the beginning I found it very low energy. I didn't feel like he put any time or energy into it. None of the jokes made me laugh. And the only thing I did enjoy is when he made the joke about how with Poor Things. I'm not entirely sure what she said. The internet says that she said, "What a prick," but Emma Stone apparently didn't like the joke he said. And I thought she said, "Oh my God," and rolled her eyes. But the internet, I guess, who can read lips, said she looked at her husband and said, "What a prick."
What?
Which was funnier than anything he said in his monologue.
What is it that he said that was rude?
It was about how basically Poor Things is all nothing but sex.
Well, because they showed clips from it, and they said, and he said, well, and that's all the scenes that we could show you from Poor Things. And anyone who has seen Poor Things knows the first 75% of the movie is all about sex.
It is. There are sex. But yes, I get her point because a lot of the talks, and that Barbie went through this too, there's a lot left out of what the themes of the movies were, and they focus on the sex. Just like when Brokeback Mountain came out, and they were like, oh, it's the gay cowboy movie. There's a lot more layers to it. And I think that her point was that you don't have to make it just about sex jokes. And I think that if his jokes were witty and clever, that it would have come across as, oh, that was fun. It reminded me of the Golden Globes guy. Like,
oh, he was so much better than the Golden Globes guy.
No, he was. I did not care for it.
Not at one point did he say anything negative about the crowd not laughing at his jokes. At no point did he blame any writers for anything, or
no, I'm not talking specific jokes, but energy wise, I did not. No. It was, to me, it was trash. What John Mulaney doing his bit when he was giving away best sound, better than anything Kimmel did.
See, he's just not funny. I'm just kidding.
I and all of Twitter beg to differ.
I said I'm going to disagree with everything you say. No, I honestly, I thought he was funny. I thought, all in all, I thought it was the best Oscar show that I've seen in a very long time.
Outside of Jimmy Kimmel, I'll agree with that.
I think set-wise,
I thought that the set looked great. I thought that the pacing was good. They kept it under 3.5 hours, and then starting it an hour earlier.
Great.
It was done by 10:30.
Yeah, it was great.
I dug it.
Gave me time to go back and watch the rest of Saturday Night Live, and I appreciated that. No, I thought it was good. I did. I think that the concept of having the 5 previous winners do speeches, like the very first one, was brilliant. It was great because they were all connected to the person that they were talking about. And then every other one was very awkward.
And they did this probably about, 20 years ago when Hugh Jackman hosted. It's just very clunky to me. And all of them come across as very awkward because obviously they're little speeches that are written and they're supposed to be speaking about, what a great achievement this is. But they're like going back and forth with the teleprompter, and it just looks weird and it feels awkward.
It was for all of them except that first one.
I mean,
for some reason, I think the first one was really good.
But the first one even felt awkward to me. In fact, when it came out, because when they did it 20 years ago, it was very awkward. And when the things came down and the 5 walked out, I was like, good God, they're doing this again?
You know, it wasn't awkward for me until, and I can't remember his name, so I'm just going to say the little kid from Indiana Jones and Goonies.
Oh, yeah.
That one was probably the most painful. And he was talking about Sterling K. Brown.
Sterling K. Brown, yeah.
Where it's just like, you know, he's talking about all of the work that he's done and how great Sterling K. Brown is, and I was thinking the whole time, you don't know who that is, do you?
And that's how a lot of them came across.
Yeah.
Like, you know, oh, I won an Oscar, so I'm going to read about this Oscar winner, but I'm going to make it seem like we're best friends who've known each other forever.
And the worst part of the Oscars, was that they reminded me that Nicolas Cage was an Oscar winner for Best Actor.
I mean, he's made a lot of crap in his days, but Leaving Las Vegas was a good movie. He deserved the Oscar for that one.
I'm sure he did. I never saw it.
You never saw Leaving Las
and
Vegas?
And I never will.
Why?
Because I'm trying to stay sober. I feel like if I have to watch him in a movie where he's... No, it's just... I just feel like... this is how... And no offense to Nicolas Cage. I don't know him. But when I was a student of acting, I wasn't very good or successful. And my drama teacher in high school told me that when I acted, I looked very fervent. And I don't know what that specifically means, except to say, I imagine that's exactly what Nicolas Cage looks like in Leaving Las Vegas. And so I stay away from it. Now I do love, we have a pillow. We gave it away at a Christmas party. A pillow that is it's
the
like
Nicolas
sparkly,
Cage.
And then when you rub your hands up it turns into a pillow of Nicolas Cage. I mean, good for him. He's got a great career, great everything. Fine. Not my cup of tea. Anyway, so those are the only things I think that I would point out as oh wait. Did you watch commercials?
I mean, I was scrolling through Twitter during commercials, but I saw a couple of them. Which one?
Did you see the DoorDash commercial where the flowers started making out?
No, I missed that one.
Oh my God, you've got to look this up. It's like, yeah, it was. It's this whole thing about like, oh, you forgot it was your anniversary and you didn't do anything, and how you could DoorDash flowers, and these 2 roses like rise up from the pile, and like one of the petals come down, and then they just start and it's so uncomfortable and awesome. Yeah, gotta watch that.
I'll put that on my to watch list. So what were your top 3 favorite moments from the Oscars?
I don't know, because see, I didn't do it that way. I just sort of, as it went on and they gave away awards, I just mentioned things. I will say this. I wrote down, I give people shit on when we talk about things, and I just giving my opinion on entertainment from people that I don't know, and I don't know their whole stories and their lives. But I did write down, "Okay, Billy." I like the song.
Okay, Billy?
Billie Eilish.
Oh, yeah.
I like that song. And she deserved to win. It kind of won me over. I thought it was great. But you know what? As much as I like that song, I did not like it as much as Kate McKinnon did.
Yeah.
Did you see her face?
She was feeling it.
Did you see her face afterwards?
She was feeling that song.
Good for her.
Your thoughts on I'm Just Ken? Did you
Oh,
enjoy that?
you know what? I did. I want to say one of my favorite moments was, I forget. I'm going to get her name wrong. John. This is not the way to describe somebody. Emily Blunt.
Yes.
Let's just say John Krasinski's wife. Not a way to describe women. I know. Emily Blunt and Ken.
Ryan Gosling.
That thing.
Having the Barbenheimer argument.
Hilarious.
Beautiful. One of my favorite moments.
Yeah, great moment. And when she said turned out not to be that much competition, ouch. And then when he said the coattails, that was really good too. So the I'm Ken thing, I thought that worked. I thought it was great.
Yeah. I dug it. I loved it.
That's when I made up the song about Jen.
I am not a huge, I'm not like anti Ryan Gosling, but I'm not like a huge Ryan Gosling fan, but I very much loved him while he was performing.
that whole shtick about him, I thought was funny. Like that Jimmy Kimmel, like when he said in the very beginning when he talked about it, he's like, "Why don't you and I just go camping and not tell anybody, not tell our wives?" And then how he was taking those pants home. I thought that whole shtick was funny. But so I wrote this song. Nah, this isn't very nice, and I don't know why I picked this country, but I was like, I started singing to Jen, and I'm like, I'm just a Jen in Yugoslavia. I'm a 10. And we just laughed for like 30 minutes about that. That's good. I appreciate the smile on your face.
I bet the people of Yugoslavia do not agree.
I know. Watch if we start getting like bombarded with pictures of hot models from Yugoslavia. That's just... But then I will answer that with pictures of Jen, and then you tell me, people of Yugoslavia, she's a 10.
Do you like the John Cena moment? I know you're not into the muscular men.
I just don't even know if that was real. He was really naked, wasn't he?
No, he had one of those movie socks over his
If all you're wearing is a sock over your junk, you're naked. It's not even like it was a G-string or something, or like a piece of, like it was just he just put a sock on his junk. He was naked.
Yeah. I thought he looked good. Good for him.
I thought it was funny. I like John Cena.
Good bit.
Ever since I saw that, you remember when he was walking down Ybor City and he did that diversity message thing? I've always liked him after that.
I know you don't like the comic book nerd stuff, but you really should watch Peacemaker on Max. Show's amazing. He's in that. He stars in it. He's Peacemaker.
I feel like there was a movie called The Peacemaker that had Nicole Kidman.
That was Nicole Kidman and George Clooney
and Bruce Willis.
Yes, Bruce Willis was in The Siege with Denzel Washington.
I did like one of those. Is this like this is I'm like now I'm confused as to what movie it was. The one with Nicole Kidman. Is that the one where like the like towards the end they caught the guy in like the bathhouse kind of sauna thing?
And he's got the bomb.
Such a good movie.
Very good movie.
Good movie.
Different Peacemaker though.
Was this an animated?
No.
It's John Cena's in it.
But it's a comic book movie.
Got it.
Or comic book show on Marvel. Hilarious.
Do you know what didn't work for me? Probably as much as you didn't think the host
the In
worked.
Memoriam?
No, see, I love that too. The Octavia Spencer and Melissa McCarthy thing.
Oh, yeah.
That missed.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, nine times out of 10, the banter back and forth before they give an award is stupid. There's occasionally like the Barbenheimer thing.
I thought most of them were good except for that.
The John Mulaney thing was good. The John Cena thing was good. But yeah, that was just
John Mulaney is he has this going for him. He's clever.
Yes.
And that's what makes his comedy so funny is that he's really clever. I thought the In Memoriam was fantastic.
First off, no.
But see, you don't like interpretive dance.
It's not even about interpretive dance. It's about always having to have distractions when you're supposed to be focused on who died. Have your musicians, even if you want to have a singer, that's fine. But you don't have to have 20 dancers on stage. They kept pulling out to show the dancers, and you could barely see the screen. And then the screen lifts up, and the orchestra's there, and the screen's even further back. And then at the end, they throw a screen up with 50 names on it. It's like, oh, yeah, and the rest. No. Leave your dancers at home. Show the damn people who died. Have some respect for the dead, damn it.
Okay, so the thing about the composers, they were all composers. That's why they showed the orchestra and went to the screen back there to show the composers. And it didn't hurt your view sitting at home. You could still see them.
No, you couldn't. They pulled out, and it was you.
Not the composers.
They cut to the screen, but they kept cutting back and forth. I couldn't see a damn thing.
Look, my vision is worse. Well, that is not true. I have LASIK, so I could see it all. But
you also have a 90-inch screen at home.
It is huge. It is huge.
I just think, and the Emmys do this, the SAG Awards do it, the Grammys get a little crazy with theirs, but that's fine. You're musicians. I feel like musicians are expected to be weird. They all do they have a singer come out or a piano or an orchestra play, and they show the clips. That's how the Oscars used to do it. And for some reason, in the last 5 or 10 years, they've decided they want to get weird and artsy with their In Memoriam. And I think it's shit. Most of Twitter thinks it's shit. Fix it, or I might stop watching the Oscars.
But isn't Twitter shit?
I mean, isn't everything shit? I mean, basically, we're talking
What are
about
we
an award
even
show
doing here?
to millionaires whose entire 3.5 hours is them jerking each other off and telling them how great they are. But yeah, have some respect for the dead.
I will agree with you in one aspect of that rant. Yeah, we could the dancers pulling the camera back so that you could get the dancers in there, and sometimes they would catch the dancers and you wouldn't be able to see the name or the occupation of the person that was there. So I get that. So maybe not the dancers, but I didn't have any problem, no problem, with Andre Bocelli's son.
That's fine. I'm fine with a singer, and yes, he was very hot.
He's just beautiful.
Yeah, married to a woman, but not everybody's perfect.
You can't be perfect.
Yeah. That I was fine with. The playing the piano, playing the violins, even playing the orchestra. That's great. Have the screen front and center. There were a couple. Obviously, there's always some omissions that people mention, but maybe I'm just different in this. But I've always enjoyed the acting of Treat Williams, and he's in Feud. He's in a bunch of stuff, and he got
Blue Bloods
demoted to the rest screen at the end. That's Treat fucking Williams.
But you have to put some good famous people back there, because then otherwise it makes the other ones look like the plus.
They are the plus. If I or you died and they did an in memoriam for podcasters, I don't expect me to be front and center, and then be like, oh, we'll put I don't know who's a podcast. Joe Rogan.
What if
in the rest?
Well, why are you and Joe Rogan going at the same time? But also,
we took each other out.
what if you and I died at the same time, and there was such a thing, and somebody who was in charge of making the in memoriam for the Oscars was doing it for the podcast thing, and they were like, you know what? We're gonna put Rick's picture up there because he liked it, but Jeremy is the plus. What if that happened?
Well, I'm sure Caitlin had her reasons.
What if we went at the same time and there was some kind of a thing where that, and then we'd be up there or down there, wherever we're gonna go together.
Oh, I know where I'm going.
And then I would say, you're my plus one on this time.
I just think that more respect should be paid to those who had died.
Do you know what I found myself saying though? During the show.
Who is that?
Is just how insanely talented people were. And I don't know if it's just because this is the year where I watched all but one.
Yeah.
And I just don't think I'm going to be able to watch it. I don't think I can bring myself to watch The Zone of Interest. Have you seen it?
I own it.
Oh, you watched it?
Yeah.
It's probably good.
I will tell you, a lot of people loved it. A lot of people loved Past Lives. I did a ranking of the 10 best pictures. The only picture I ranked lower than it was Maestro. It technically is a wonderfully made movie. It deserved the best sound Oscar that it won. The things it does with the sound, with them in the yard, with the sounds of what's happening in the concentration camp next door, is wonderful. It felt like watching homework. The fact that it got nominated for Best Script blew my mind, because it's a fly on the wall kind of thing where you just watch them just kind of living their lives, and there's no character development. You don't get to know them. They hid cameras throughout the house and the yard, and it's almost like just watching security footage of them living their lives while Jews are being killed in the Holocaust next door.
The concept of the show makes me want to watch it, but the trailer makes me never want to watch it.
That's what I'm saying. It's very homework-like. I fell asleep twice during it. It's a very dry, and I hate to say this about a Holocaust movie, it's a very boring movie.
And now, so outside of that movie,
yes,
like they were great. When I looked at the categories and I was trying to vote, the like especially like Best Supporting Actress and Best Actress, those were all incredible performances. So it's just sort of, I mean, at some point it just has to become political because they're just all so good.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it has to do with narratives. Just people like Robert Downey Jr. Nothing against him. I thought his performance was great. I mean, it was the narrative was that it was his time. It was his third nomination. He basically saved movies when by being Iron Man in the Marvel universe. And
I'm sure that Bradley Cooper is a big fan of our show and that he's listening right now, and he's probably saying to himself, if it was his time because he had 3 nominations, then when in the hell is it my time? Because that poor guy is going to be like the Susan Lucci of the Oscars.
His problem is he will not win an Oscar for a while for the same reason Hillary Clinton did not win the presidency.
Because he wants it too bad.
It feels like you wanted a little too bad. He's Barbra Streisanding himself. Barbra Streisand did this thing where when she got famous enough, she was going to make a movie. She's like, I'm going to write it, produce it, direct it, star in it. I will edit it. I will market it. I will go city to city, theater to theater, and tell you to buy a ticket. And it's like, you're doing too much. You're doing way, and that's what Bradley Cooper is. And also, I mean, most of Hollywood is very liberal progressive. And I feel like there has been, ever since he was in American Sniper, because American Sniper was like a conservative dream movie. And it got nominated for like 9 Oscars, and the conservatives were like, yeah, finally the Oscars got it right. So there's kind of this, Bradley Cooper was, feeding the conservative machine, so we're gonna make him wait a little bit to put him in the corner. But I mean, also Maestro, while it was a good movie, nothing in Maestro stood out to say this is the best film had to offer this year. He just was in a really competitive year.
Yeah. As I say that, I think it was a really great year for movies. And I watched 9 of the 10 Best Pictures. I thought maybe 3 of them were Best Pictures.
Really?
So it wasn't the rest of them. Sometimes I think like you watch a movie and you say, oh, they're trying to win an award. And then you watch another movie and you just say, that was just really good.
Yeah.
Also,
I because like you watched a lot of these after the awards hype and the Oscar nominations came out. So, I don't know, maybe you go into this with the thought of, oh, everybody thinks this is a great movie. I'm going to watch it and prove them wrong kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like you go into it skeptical. Because I know a lot of people do that.
No, I go into it thinking like this should be an amazing movie because it's nominated for an Oscar.
So you said only 3. Which movies did you think were worthy of being nominated?
I have my list. So I'm just
all right. I will run through the 10 Best Pictures, and you tell me if you thought they were worthy or not. Oppenheimer.
Yes. Okay, so maybe 4.
American Fiction.
Or 5. 100%. American
Anatomy
Fiction.
of a Fall.
Absolutely.
Barbie.
I did go back and watch Barbie again, and I did really like it. I think it
it worthy of the Best Picture nomination. For those who don't watch the video, he is shaking his head no. The Holdovers.
I really enjoyed that movie. I watched it before the Oscars. That was great. No.
Killers of a Flower Moon.
No.
Maestro.
I mean, it was good, and I mean, it was groundbreaking, and I get all of that, but I don't. No.
Maestro.
No.
Past Lives.
Mm-mm.
Poor Things.
I'll tell this. I'll give Poor Things this. It is not my taste, but I can see why people would have thought it deserved to be nominated. I mean, obviously, as I was watching all of the stuff and seeing the clips and it being nominated and hearing their speeches and all that, it is interesting. And I think one thing, like you said earlier about how Emma Stone was mad about that thing because it's not about the sex. It is not. It's people will pick it out because it's so in your face, this whole thing. Yeah. But when you look at the progress or the
progression,
the character arc of this person who is a child, an adolescent, or a toddler into a full-grown woman completely in control of her life. I think that's more of a message there about how you get there and of the people who try to hold you back. So, yes, it's good. I just wouldn't put it there. To me, it's not up there with American Fiction, or Anatomy of a Fall, which in American Fiction to me is what that and Anatomy of a Fall. It should have been a battle between those two.
Yeah, I mean, obviously those were my 1 and 2 when I did my article and I listed them. Other than Maestro,
which one was the one?
American Fiction was number 1.
Yeah,
that was my favorite movie last year.
Yeah.
Other than Maestro, and I would say even Past Lives and Zone of Interest, I would leave the 3 of those off. The other 7, I can absolutely see. While they are not my favorite movies, I can see from a filmmaker perspective why those would be considered the best of the year.
I liked Past Lives a lot.
I think it's a cute film.
But I liked the concept of it. I liked her character so much.
Yeah.
Where, it's like that line that she has when he said, "Are you happy?" And she basically was like, "This is where I landed."
Yeah.
Like, it's not about, finding the person that you're supposed to be with for the rest of your life. It's just, I made decisions. This is what I wanted out of my life, and this is where I landed.
Yeah.
Like,
this Past Lives for me and that's why I asked you that question, is because Past Lives for me was that movie where there was so much hype from film people who were like, this is the best movie of the year. This is the best thing I've seen. I went in expecting to see Lawrence of Arabia or Citizen Kane. And it was good, but I did not see what people were hyping about it. And that made me think not less of the film, but less of that it should have been in the top 10.
Yeah. I love that actress. She's in Morning Show, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Love her. And I think this is where I find with a lot of these shows is that I find like the concept of them is so good and it has the potential to be really good. But for some reason, it just doesn't hit there.
Yeah.
But it almost did. I mean, I like Past Lives. I just don't know that I would pick it.
Yeah. I will. The first time I saw Poor Things, I was like, that was a weird movie. That was fine. Every time I've seen it since, I've seen it 3 times. By the end of the 3rd time, I was like, yeah, I can see why this is a Best Picture nominee.
Yeah. And, hearing people talk about it, like when I heard like Mark Ruffalo, it seemed, when I watched it from my perspective, I'm like, oh, this is art for art's sake. And there's like, oh, let's just be weird. And like Dick's the Musical, I feel like they went into it like, let's just be weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think that, like, I no longer think that about Poor Things. I think that they were just being innovative in how they told a story.
Yeah.
So good for them.
And a lot of the awards that Poor Things won, costumes, makeup and hairstyling, and production design, I feel like won because of the originality. There were a lot of movies this year that were either based on another property, like Barbie, or that were based on a historical moment. So it's like you get to look back and say, oh, let's look at pictures from, the toy aisle, what Barbie looks like, or what the time period looked like during Killers of the Flower Moon or Oppenheimer. The people who designed Poor Things basically were said, hey, make something that doesn't exist already. And when I watched it the 3rd time with that kind of mindset, I was marveled at the concepts they came up with.
I would point out too, watching Barbie again, it's an impressive movie.
Yeah.
And one thing I really liked about it was how true to Barbie's world they stayed in the movie. I mean, even like, and I think I said this when we talked about it the first time, but when Ken got hurt for beaching, and the ambulance showed up, when they opened the ambulance, it was just like the ambulance, like of the toys. I don't know if that's the appropriate action houses. When they opened it up, it was. As
I was told by the people at Legoland, it's okay to call toys toys.
I just thought that was really cool, but also, and I guess Margot Robbie had a big part of this.
Oh yeah, she was the producer,
but like to take a doll in a cardboard box and create, and so like it gets credit for adaptive script, but there wasn't a story. Like they invented this story. And I thought it's a great story.
Yeah, the story that you could do an entire episode just on what category that screenplay should have been in, because the Oscars are the only one that put it in adapted screenplay. Every other award show put it in original screenplay because it's based on an existing property, but it is a wholly original story. And when I went and watched Barbie the 2nd time, I was talking to a friend of mine. And they made a point about something, and I didn't make the connection until they mentioned this, and then I saw the movie. Barbie is to mothers and daughters what the Lego movie was to fathers and sons.
Oh.
It was this toy that it was like on surface, it's like, oh, this is just a movie about a toy that you played with as a kid. But if you've seen the Lego movie, there's this whole story about fathers and sons being able to communicate with each other. And I was like, Barbie is the girl Lego movie. And it reached me on a deeper level. And I appreciated it.
You know, it's interesting that you say that the Oscars is the only ones that put that in adaptive screenplay because they made an announcement that next year they're going to allow The Bear to be an adaptive screenplay and win an Oscar.
I'm not surprised.
That's the only thing that's going to be in comedic screenplay.
I'll tell you what,
adapted
though,
from a TV movie.
I have been watching The Bear again.
It's good.
It's so good. And it is so good. In fact, I'm willing to overlook that it's not a comedy.
No.
I know this will upset you. I know you won't agree.
No. You wait. You may sit across from me and you may look me in the eye and you may say, Rick, this is a good show and you should watch it. But you may not tell me
you know
it
what I
deserves
did?
a Golden Globe for Best Comedy.
I tried pushing it down.
You can tell me that you thought...
I laughed a lot on this show. I laugh a lot watching
But
The
it
Bear.
doesn't make it a comedy. You
I mean,
laugh
what
because
makes it a
guy
comedy?
is beating... It's a drama.
But
Google it.
But if it's funny,
No,
it's not
you know
a
what?
comedy?
Is it funny that that lady was crying in her car? Probably not to most people, but some people laughed.
So it's all subjective. To everyone at the Mandy Patinkin concert, that was a drama. To Jen, that was a comedy.
She's the sole vote for comedy in the Golden Globes.
She loved how hilarious
my
that
point.
lady's tears
Just
were.
because a comedy can tell jokes, or a drama can tell jokes, it doesn't make it a comedy. And if a comedy gets sad and dramatic at some point, Ted Lasso's not a drama because people cry in it. You can cry in a drama. It's okay. Are you in
but
a
what
comedy?
if it doesn't make you laugh? Is it still a comedy?
Well, I mean, I think it's about its intent.
It's all subjective. It's entertainment. It's all subjective. And none of us are members of the Academy. So if they say it's a comedy, we say Watermark is news. I bet there's people out there be like, that shit ain't news. We say it's news, so it is news. The Academy says it's a comedy, so it's a comedy.
No.
You got to see the Jamie Lee Curtis episode.
Was
so good.
There is a this is the thing that I will not let happen. I will not let The Bear be considered a comedy.
I don't think you can stop it.
on this podcast.
But I just said it.
Well,
I just put it out there.
I will say that I get 1.5 votes to your 1 vote.
Best sitcom ever, The Bear. The Bear is the best sitcom since Friends.
You can tell who hosted the Jimmy Kimmel. You can tell me Jimmy Kimmel's not funny. You can tell me that you didn't enjoy.
No, Jimmy Kimmel's funny. He just wasn't funny last night.
This was good. I don't think these jokes landed. I get all of that. Never, no matter how good that show is, it is not a comedy. That's all I have to say. Did we talk about everything? Did you want to go through the winners?
I mean, we can't. Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll point out a few winners because we're already running late.
So Billie Eilish wins.
Billie Eilish, the only win for Barbie, which was kind of sad because it went in with 8 nominations, but a lot of movies got more nominations and got nothing.
Yeah.
So,
and I want to point out that's the happiest I've ever seen Billie Eilish.
Well, that's
good for her.
That's her second Oscar, and she is now the youngest double Oscar winner in Oscar history.
Then she won back to back, didn't she?
She won 3 or 4 years ago for her James Bond song. I do want to point out that my 2 favorite movies of the year, American Fiction. Sorry, I had to take a deep breath there. American Fiction and Anatomy of a Fall both won the Screenplay Awards. Right. Cord Jefferson, who, if he does listen to our podcast, I love you and I want you to be my husband. He is openly gay, and he won. He was the director, writer of American Fiction.
And had this amazing speech.
Fantastic.
His speech was, if you didn't see it, it was basically... hey y'all, I'm just telling you, I tried to get this produced so many times and it got turned down time after time after time. And he's like, I'm not saying that to bitch about the fact that nobody would do it, just to say to you, you should take chances on people, and instead of making a $200 million movie, maybe you should make 4 $50 million movies, or 50 $10 million movies, or whatever, however it maps out.
His speech was actually because he won the BAFTA for this award a couple of weeks ago, and in the press pit, they were asking him about getting the movie made, and he made a comment that a lot of people online took to be kind of a slight against the film industry. And so he had to come out and not really apologize, but like explain that he's like, I'm not talking about, that people aren't being given opportunity. He's saying, or that he wasn't appreciative of the opportunity he was giving. He's saying that more of those opportunities need to be given. So his speech was kind of a response to that, which I thought was fantastic.
Just saying, like, there are so many people watching this right now that want the opportunity I had, and they deserve it.
Mm-hmm. And he's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love him. For if you don't know, I know you don't like comic book stuff, but there is a mini series on Max called Watchmen. He was the showrunner for that. And
I wanted to watch that. It's got a great cast.
So good. I love it. I love everything he does.
It's X-Men related, right? No.
It is. It's based on the
Smurfs. No.
Sure. Yeah. It's a Smurf thing. There is a blue man in there who's naked and has a huge.
Ooh. Just because we said Smurfs, I just want to say, whoever it is that's creating horror movies with Winnie the Pooh should probably make one about the Smurfs.
Okay. I don't think Smurfs are in the public domain, so we can't. However, have you seen the images from... Okay, I love Winnie the Pooh. And I was concerned when I heard about Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey coming out.
But
and
you
I watched it. Fucking love that movie. And the sequel's coming out, and now Tigger's in the public domain, so Tigger can be in it. And I saw the images from the sequel, and y'all, they got some extra money, and they look so much better. I am so excited. Can't wait to talk about this movie. I'm going to find a gay angle for it. I'm pretty sure Pooh and Tigger fuck in it, so we'll talk about that. I'm
sure there's you got some poo on you joke that...
You got poo on you, Tigger. But yeah, so the screenplay winners, love that both of them won. Divine Joy Randolph won for... I thought Cillian Murphy did great in Oppenheimer, but I really wanted...
Jeffrey Wright?
No.
Oh.
Paul Giamatti to win. I thought him and Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers were both delightful, and I loved them.
I thought he was fine. He was good. I mean, the eye thing threw me off.
The eye
like that I had to look it up. Like, why is this happening? I was like, I've never noticed this before. He's got an eye that wonders.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he wore contacts.
But then he wore a contact that made him blind, and because first I thought he trained his eye to do that, and I was like, how do you untrain your eye? I mean, if poor Austin Butler is going to speech therapy to stop talking like Elvis, then what is Paul Giamatti going to do?
He's going to glass eye it. But I love Paul Giamatti, and he's way
movie.
overdue.
He, I'd say this about him. He's one of those people, like, if he's in the cast, it's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
You just know what it is. But I will say this about, I did like her, Divine
Joy Randolph.
I liked her a lot. But I have to say that Danielle's performance in The Color Purple, I thought was
This
amazing.
is nothing against Danielle Brooks. This speaks to how much I loved the 80s, The Color Purple. The entire time I was watching the musical The Color Purple, I kept thinking Spielberg did it better. Everything in the 80s movie was better for me than in this. And not that I don't think she did a great job, but it diminished thinking, like, if you're not going to give that entire cast Oscars, then you can't give this cast Oscars, because that entire cast blew me away. Oprah, who's not even an actress, blew me away in that movie. I just love that movie so much. I will say that while I love Divine Joy Randolph, I would have been happy if America Ferrera won for Barbie.
I would have too. Her. I love her. I loved her in this movie.
I love her in Ugly Betty.
Did you watch Superstore?
Yes, I love Superstore. But if she listens, she's gonna hate this. But my friend Marianella has always reminded me of America Ferrera, so I always want good things to happen for America Ferrera.
Did you have some traveling pants that you share with your friend? Isn't she in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants?
She is, yeah. But I thought Divine Joy, and she's in Only Murders in the Building.
I love her.
Love her.
And
so
I
happy
love her,
she won.
her like, see, this is where I it's not all about millionaires patting themselves on the back, because I'm imagining she's not there yet. She's gonna be one day. But she like,
well, yeah, it's millionaires
like,
patting themselves on the back and patting other people on the back to say, "Good job, you did good in one of our movies."
But like the idea, I just like the whole idea. Even some example I was going to say earlier, but it's just like the people, like Mandy Patinkin, whose father takes him to see something and he's inspired by that, and then he works really hard and he gets it, and he becomes, like that sort of thing I think is great. And I think like Davine, who is like, I'm going to be a singer, and her mom's like, go across the street and try acting, because I think you got a career there. And now she did it, and now she's this award-winning.
She got an Oscar.
And she's fantastic, and I love that story.
I found this out yesterday while I was watching the pre-show, but Divine Joy Randolph won more precursor awards leading up to the Oscars than anyone in Oscar history.
Oh, wow.
Generally, particularly with the Critics Awards, they'll divide categories, but she consistently, more than anyone in the history of the Oscars, won every single award leading up to the Oscars. The only other thing that I want to mention is Japan did really well. They were nominated for the country had 2 films that were nominated. The Boy and the Heron beat Spider-Man, which it wasn't expected to. So that was one of the surprises.
That's one I actually got that one right, and I only picked it because the two of you were like, have you seen that?
I picked The Boy and the Heron only because the Spider-Man movie that was up is the second what's going to be a trilogy. And historically, the middle movie does not win awards. And the other one, this is the 70th anniversary of Godzilla, and Godzilla -1 won for Best Visual Effects. It's the first time that a Godzilla movie has ever won an Oscar.
So when they were up there giving their acceptance speech, the younger one seemed to be more excited to be holding a Godzilla than he was that they were on stage to win an award.
Yeah. Well, they really love Godzilla.
Also, at that point, shouldn't you just do your speech in the language that you speak and then let the subtitles take care of the rest?
I wonder. I'm sure they offer it, because when the director of Parasite won a couple of years ago, he had an interpreter come up and would speak. I'm sure they offered him an interpreter, and he probably was like, "No, I know English. I'm good.
My English is fine.
My English is fine. I'll be okay." But also in that instance, even if I'm sure he speaks great English, but you're excited and you're nervous and you're speaking in front of 1 billion people, you're probably going to be nervous. And I mean, the guy from The Zone of Interest, when he was reading his anti-Israel, pro-Palestine speech, Chris commented, he goes, "Why the fuck are his hands shaking so much?" And I was
nervous.
Like, he's nervous.
Yeah.
He's sitting here as a Jewish man talking about how he's, standing against the people of Israel.
Well, I think what he was saying is stop killing people.
Yeah.
It wasn't about, it's
I forget what word he used, but he said like he abdicated from the Jewish people or something. Whatever his phrasing was, it was a little weird.
Yeah, I think that maybe I didn't pay attention. Sometimes I listen to the first couple of sentences of a speech and then I stop paying attention, but I really got this idea of like, terrible things are, oh my God, I was going to sound like Trump. Terrible things are happening on both sides. But that, stop killing innocent people to retaliate for something that happened, which I think is a sentiment 99% of people have.
Yeah,
everyone
maybe.
Except maybe the leader of Israel. Well, and his cabinet.
But yeah, go back and read his speech, because I forget what word he used, but that's what he's being kind of criticized for, is the specific word of like he abdicated from the Jewish people or something. But it's your time. You want an Oscar? Say what the fuck you want. I don't care.
Yeah, right. It's a big deal, and you just imagine that you're not only are you on a TV that millions of people are watching, or on the cameras there and there's a million people. But you're in a space of like the best of the best of this craft that you love. It's got to make you nervous. I mean, if I had to give a speech in front of, publishers of other newspapers, I'd be nervous because I'd think, oh, they're the.
I mean, not everybody's nervous. Al Pacino didn't seem nervous when he fucked up the ending.
Oh my God, the most anticlimactic. I guess I'll read it. So something looks like an Oppenheimer.
I read Oppenheimer, and everybody was like, "You gonna read the nominees?" Apparently, he was supposed to read the nominees.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
because they didn't for song. Because they were like, you heard the songs.
And they do that every year. They're like, you have heard throughout the evening the nominees for Best Original Song. Sometimes they'll say we'll recap, but I think they were really trying to condense the show.
Why do they keep bringing people out for the Best Picture that screw it up?
Because they're trying to bring legends out. And I think maybe this speaks to the conversation we should have about our presidents or our nominees running for president. Old people fuck it up.
Because didn't what's his name? Oh my God, now I can't remember the guy who Warren Beatty.
Yeah,
didn't he?
I am going to defend Warren Beatty. Warren Beatty didn't fuck it up. Faye Dunaway fucked it up. Warren Beatty opened it, and the thing in the envelope said Emma Stone La La Land. And he's like, this ain't the right envelope. And that's why he looked off to the side. And then everybody thought he was like, oh, he's being funny. And she's like, read it. And he's like, no, look at it. It's the wrong envelope. And she reads it and she goes, La La Land. And he's like, ooh, you just fucked up. That's why he had this like, ooh, look. And he just stepped away because he's like, things about to get real right now.
But then there was
Gladiator. She died soon after that.
Aww. Unrelated, I'm sure.
Elizabeth Taylor.
Unless. Do
you remember where you were when Elizabeth Taylor died? No. I don't remember where I was when a lot of people died, but I specifically remember I was at the gay bar, Mr. Sisters, when it was open. And they brought out tea light candles. And remember they had the tables that were painted with like different actors and actresses? They put tea light candles on the Elizabeth Taylor table. I was like, these queers are so dramatic.
Yeah, I would remember that.
Yeah.
I would have thought, I was getting inducted into a cult and I would have run. Like, I don't remember where I was because nobody did stupid shit like that around me. In fact, I don't even, I wouldn't be able to answer the question in Jeopardy as to whether she was alive or not.
She did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I know now. Now I get it right.
She did. Anyway, all in all, I thought it was a good Oscars. Again,
I thought it was one of the best.
Jimmy Kimmel reading what Donald Trump thought of his performance at the end of it cracked me up. I thought that was great. And I thought that I love that because over the last, I would say maybe 10 years or so, they've been giving Best Picture to small independent films. And there's been this argument over nobody watches it because the Oscars don't award films that everybody goes and sees. So I think that like the two biggest films that people were talking about were films that a lot of people saw, and they gave it to this huge, big budget spectacle that I feel like they haven't done since, Lord of the Rings was the last huge $1 billion movie they gave it to. So that was good. I haven't seen the ratings numbers yet, but I bet the ratings were pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I liked they made good decisions.
They did.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I thought the movies were good. It was a good year for movies. Oh, that was good. All good. Oh, good.
Keep doing what you're doing. Keep on keeping on.
And check us out next week where we talk about 2 episodes of Feud and something else that we have yet to
determine.
And
we'll talk about a movie. Ooh, there's this movie. It's celebrating its 10-year anniversary. Well, maybe we'll talk about that. It's got John Lithgow and Alfred Molina in it, where they play a gay couple. Anyway, it's on Hulu. Well, I don't remember the name of it, but we'll talk about it. Maybe we'll talk about it next week.
We'll see.
All right. So until then, cork back in the bottle.